Okay, I don't know. There's still a delay.
Man, it's even worse now. Now it's a 26-second delay.
What is DVR?
So it records.
Oh, okay. Delay none.
Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to figure something out for this because that is way too much of a delay. But it says stream is healthy. We've got a green.
But it's not.
It says excellent connection.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's annoying. There's got to be a way to
Live stream settings.
try and get it to be less of a delay. No, there's nothing there.
Stupid thing.
Alright, I don't know. We'll figure it out later. But yeah, so we're just gonna look at some quotas. You guys will just be a little ways behind us.
It's not the computer. The computer's fine.
And the delay may not even be as bad as we think it is. It could just be what we're seeing on here.
I don't know.
I either jump on the laptop and
That's what I was thinking.
yeah, but the thing is I could go to the old classic studio or the stream that I use for Monday nights, and I would not have any delay at all. Well, I mean I would, but it'd be like a few seconds. It wouldn't be 26 seconds. So it's something to do with the new setup. So yeah, so I've heard there's already been a die clash found on these for the bat's fur being clashed on basically like on Washington's face and neck. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for that. But basically with these being brand new, we want to see if we can find anything while hanging out with you guys.
It's loading. I just gotta take a look.
Any doubling or die cracks or clashes or any of that fun stuff. We got almost a roll of these. All Denvers. Yeah. Ever since the adpocalypse and all the changes they're making and everything, YouTube hasn't been as good as they used to be. You know, and the thing is I'm sure they know it, but there's nothing they can do about it. Because, you know, they got to make their money to be able to continue operating and pay all their employees and all that kind of thing. So they have to keep their revenue coming in. So if anybody sees anything on any of these, I know we got a delay, but still, you know, let me know. You guys probably noticed by now I got my own photo of these guys down at the little photo section. So you got the real thing along with the quarter. I'm pretty sure that's just a scratch. Hey, coin digging. Oh, that's fine. We're just looking at quarters, trying to play around with the new YouTube setup. Trying to get used to it, because eventually this is going to be the only setup we have to use. What's funny is it says the reason they're doing away with the old school studio setup is because most people now are using this setup. Except everybody that I've talked to said they keep clicking it back to use the original setup. I've yet to talk to anybody that said, oh yeah, I'm using the new setup and I like it better. I'm sure Ken's probably using the new setup just because he wants to make sure he's ready to go with all the new stuff. So, you know, definitely one of the things I'm watching for, except I've not seen it, so I don't know exactly what to look for. Is that a die clash, for anybody who just popped in, a die clash has been found on these, where you can make out the fur from the bats on Washington's, basically like his cheek and his jawbone and his neck. And as far as I've heard, that's the only variety so far that's been found on these. So I want to make sure if I do see one that I don't just chalk it up as being like, oh, that just looks like bag marks. I mean, I don't mind if they, you know, switch over to just the new version, but they need to definitely do something about the delay. Because the whole point of a live stream is to be live. So that as I am talking, within at least a second or two, you guys are hearing what I'm saying. And as you guys respond, then I know what you're responding to. That's kind of the whole point. To have a real-time dialect with the viewers. Or dialogue, not dialect. Real-time dialogue. It's definitely a cool design on these. That's for sure. Last year when they were showing all of the possible designs that could be chosen to be used, and I saw the fruit bats, I was hoping they'd pick that one. So I'm glad they did. Exterminate. So how's everybody been? We're just chilling at looking at bats. How's everybody doing? These are the only 2020s we've seen so far. We haven't gotten anything in change yet, as far as even pennies or nickels or dimes or anything. Daleks. Anybody who doesn't know, that's a Doctor Who reference. The Daleks. Those are the little robot guys. And they're like basically the main enemy of Doctor Who. Not seen anything yet. Definitely not seeing anything that looks like a fur die clash so far. No TARDIS emoji. I have a theory that Elon Musk is the real life Doctor. So eventually there's going to be people that are going to go through and they're going to look at every single individual little hair on these bats and try and find any kind of anything, any minor doubling. And that person is not going to be me. That is way too much fur detail to go through. Rode in on the Eldridge. And then, of course, I don't know if the die clash that was found, I don't know if that was on the Philadelphia or the Denver. So it very well could have been the Philly quarter that they found that on. I haven't done a lot of study into these. So like the
22
initials.
seconds.
Oh, I know. The initials right there. Like I don't know who that is. I have no idea. I don't know who designed this thing.
And it keeps jumping back and buffering a lot.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you guys buffering a lot? If you guys are buffering a lot, let me know. My wife's been watching it on the laptop to see, and she said she keeps getting jump backs and buffering.
Yeah, and your picture is all blurry. Yep, buffering.
Yeah, you're buffering. Hey, Jeff Stanley.
I don't know
Yeah,
how to fix it.
I don't either. That's the thing. Because with the new setup, I don't know how to get everything synced up better. Zero buffering for coin digging.
Well, you're lucky I'm in the other room and I'm buffering.
Oh, that doesn't mean anything. So yeah, we're just looking at the new quarters, checking for varieties or anything while playing with the new YouTube studio setup to try and figure out how to get things more synced up because we're sitting on a 25-second delay right now.
So if anybody,
Whereas with the classic studio that we use on Mondays, our delay is like 2 seconds.
no, there's not.
Oh, there could be. I haven't looked through all the settings yet.
I looked and it didn't say it said zero, none for the delay because it's
And he's talking about pre-stream settings
not.
when you're first setting it up.
Oh. Because it was not. Delay none.
Let me try low latency. Oh, wait, I can't. I have to do that before I hit start. Low latency, ultra low latency. Yeah, I'll play around with it.
This is annoying.
I'll try the ultra low latency one at some point and see if that makes a difference. And start doing some research into it. See if other people have run into it and figured out a way to get around it. Picked up a handful at the Mint, both at A&A.
Cool.
Yeah, Rick Snow got these from the coin show day.
Okay, that's what.
Not this past week, but the week before. The Long Beach, I believe, is where he got these. And when I went in last week, he asked me if I wanted to roll. So I was like, sure. So we're just looking to see if there's anything on them that we can find.
Yeah, Coin Dragon said that's what he did, and it works. so far for him.
Yeah, I'll look into a Coin Dragon. Play around with it a bit more for the pre-settings. Lots of bats upside down. So far, we haven't found any die cracks or die chips. Haven't spotted a clash yet. Haven't seen anything that looks like doubling. Just your basic bag marks you get on a lot of them. So again, if anybody's looking, I don't know if it's on the Philadelphia or Denver, but there's been a die clash apparently that found where you got right around in this area.
There's Cheapskate.
You got the bat fur clashed onto the obverse.
I'm throwing that away. It broke it.
So we're keeping an eye out for that, just in case it is on the Denver.
How many have you left through?
This is number 8. Now moving on to number 9. Has anybody found anything cool lately?
Hi, Cindy.
Hey, Cindy. Friend of yours sent you a nice one from the D-Man also. Yeah, the tube of them that he gave us actually did have some Philadelphias in it, and so we do actually in our collection have the Philly and the Denver. And then last week we had the other 5s Phillies put with Denvers for little Philly and Denver BU sets, and
Those were gone.
sold them all for $1 a piece. In like, yeah, they were gone in like 2 seconds.
Hi, David.
Now, I don't know if it's anything, but I've seen that line on a couple of them now, between the 0 and the 2. Yeah, we're on like a 25, 26 second delay right now. And I'm checking this right now because I want to see if this is actually a die crack or a scratch.
That looks like a scratch.
It looks like a scratch. But I have seen that on a couple of them in that same spot. It seems like a scratch if it went over the 0. Would have scratched the 0.
Except for that. I think it's actually getting better.
Yeah, maybe less of a delay now. Maybe it's catching up.
It looks like a scratch to me, but I could be wrong.
No, that's not raised. That's down in.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hang on. Let me look at it with a loop. Sometimes you get so close up, you know, it has the opposite effect you're hoping for.
And this, and scratch, then a scratch.
Yeah, that's a scratch. There's a shadow inside of it.
Optical illusion.
Yeah, again, that's one of those things when you're using a scope, you got to keep in mind that, you know, the magnification is so high that it can mess with your eyes sometimes. Tropical delusion. Nothing on that one. Yeah, but being that these are the brand new, it'd be cool to find like a die crack or a chip or a cut or anything on them. That'd be neat. But these might be too early on in the run to have anything. No fur on the neck. I've gone batty. That ship sailed a long time ago. I need to grab a drink real quick. Yeah. My drink way over here. Cheers. Ah, that's better. Yeah, dead center on this one would basically be the chest fur on this side. So let me ask, how many of you guys, when you get a hold of these things, are going to go through and check every individual little piece of fur to see if you can find a double dye that nobody knows about?
Not me.
Because
I have to.
I'm sure as heck not going to do that. That is way too much to look at. Because not only the fact that you have to look at them, it's the fact that you have to look at enough of them and have one that you know for a fact is not a double dye so that you can compare every single one of those individual pieces of fur. You're on the obverse. Nothing on this one. Have you heard of something pop up on that's got an ear? Something going on with the ear? Or are you just saying that's the central portion? Yeah, we've been watching for that one. For the fur clash. Watch, they're gonna end up calling it like the Elvis coin or something. Because of the sideburns. We have bats here, but we have the, I'm trying to remember what they're called. They're like Mexican something or other. Hang on. But they're tiny little guys.
What?
The bats that we have here.
Yeah.
I don't know what bats are in
Arizona.
song. Okay, apparently there's a number of them that we have here.
Pallid bat, silverhead bat. Mexican long.
I think that's the
Tongue
one that
bat.
we have the majority of, the Mexican long tongues. But they're little. Full grown, if one of them was sitting on your hand, it would be like, that'd be it. They're tiny little guys. But we got a bunch of them here. Okay. That was the closest I could find to the design. For the mama and baby. So yeah, if you're ever, if any of you ever visit Tucson and at the right time you're standing by standing on the right bridge as dusk is coming, you'll see tons and tons of bats flying out from under them.
22nd and Pantano, and then Broadway.
Broadway and Pantano is a big one for the Pantano wash.
Yeah. Our neighbors are being idiots outside.
You hope we get a W. We've only gotten one W out of a roll so far, and we got that in late January, and it was a American Memorial Park. That's the only one we found in a roll. But apparently the mint is, the mint is going to be working with the distribution apparatus to try and get them more widely spread around this year for the W's. Big old scratch on that one right there. Yeah, maybe a couple of points throughout the year. Maybe I will go and get a bunch of quarter rolls and just do some live hunts. Why not? Not on that one. So something I think we should do as part of the community is set up kind of like a trade network, like, you know, between the East and West Coast. So get, like, you know, a couple of people over here on the West Coast and get a couple of people over on the East Coast at least, that, you know, basically just to set it up where we can send our Ds over to the East Coast folks, and they'll send us some Philadelphias, and vice versa. Because, you know, I've had a number of times that during live streams I've, you know, said, hey, I got a bunch of the BU Denvers for this year. If anybody be willing to trade me some Phillies for some of these, and I've yet to have a single person pop up and be like, yeah, I'll be happy to do that with you. Hey, Lady Jax. Yeah, and, you know, because we're trying to fill in our collections for the modern stuff, so why not have a network set up where we have East and West Coast work together to get each other the Philly and the Denver? Yep, it goes with our theme because we are looking at Batses tonight. You know, like, for example, right now I've got all of these Denver 2020 quarters. If anybody out there finds some of the Phillies, I'd be happy to do a trade. Yeah, you're going to get scratches on them because, you know, these are meant for circulation, so they're going to have your standard bag marks and all that kind of thing on them. But I think that's something that needs to happen more often. And, you know, this community is such a good resource for it. Of getting into actual doing trades more often. You know, everybody's so quick to be like, you know, oh, I have this coin and you're looking for it, I'll sell it to you. Well, why not, before jumping to saying I'll sell it to you, why not say, hey, what do you got that I don't have that I could use in my collection? Maybe we can work on a trade. I think more trading needs to go on. That could be a feeder finger that's catching it. Nothing on that one. Next. There's something going on with that A, or is that just me? No, that is nothing. This is diaware. Nothing. Yeah, because who's to say that you may not have a handful of coins just sitting around that are, just happen to be all the coins that are somebody else is missing in their slot or in their books or, whatever. And maybe they got an extra, an extra Morgan or an extra, whatever that you don't have. That's an equal value trade. That's just another way to be able to, get some of the coins that maybe you necessarily wouldn't have been able to get before. Nothing on that one. Oh, yeah, unless it's Cindy, because the Cindy, there's no such thing as extra Morgans. To Cindy, there's just give me all the Morgans now. That's Cindy's method of collecting Morgans. Her Morgan collection isn't done until she owns every Morgan on the planet in a gigantic warehouse somewhere.
Cindy, hate to break it to you, you'll never have every single one. Neither will I.
But she'll never keep trying. But hey, anybody that's able to even put together one full collection of Morgans, that's quite an accomplishment.
Yes.
Speaking of complete collections, we are 4 pennies away from having our wheat cent collection done. We're only missing 4 wheat cents now. Not counting varieties and errors and proofs and all that kind of thing, but as far as just the standard collection goes, we're only missing 4 now. We're missing the 09S, the 09S VDB, the 14D, and the 11S. Those are the only 4 we need. Which, of course, the 11S, I think, if I remember right, we can get it a decent one of those for like 30, 40 bucks. But the 14D and the SVDB, of course, those are going to be a monster to get. And say again. If you're asking me to repeat the dates again, it's of what we're missing. It's the 09S, the 09 SVDB, the 11S, and the 14D are the ones that we're missing. Not seeing anything on this one. You think you have the 11S, the others are out of your grasp. Yeah, I hear it. Now, for anybody who knows me, they know that my personal favorite series is the Kennedy half dollars. And as far as the standard collection goes, I do have all of them. The only ones that I'm missing now are the 2020s because they're not out yet. So now I'm working on, for my Kennedy half dollar collection, I'm working on getting started on getting all the proofs so that I can say I've got, all the standard ones, and then now going into getting all the proofs, and then I got to get all the special ones. And of course, for the Kennedy half dollar collection, the last one I'm going to be getting on that one is going to be that 2014, solid gold Kennedy half dollar that was put out. But I am determined, that is the one collection I am determined I will have the entire Kennedy half dollar collection someday. It's going to happen. I might be 65 by the time I'm done, but I will get it. But as far as just all the Denver and Philly, I've got all of those up through 2019. I'm just waiting for the 2020s to come out. And then I've got a handful of the proofs. I used to have more, but I had to sell a bunch of them because we needed the money. So I'm kind of starting over on proofs again for the Kennedy halves. And I used to have like 8 of the silver proofs, and I had to sell those too. I was really bummed out about that. Yeah, I know the 09S, the non-VDB one, I mean, that's not like an uber expensive coin. So the 11S and the 9S will be doable. And even the 14D, if you don't mind a low grade, you can get for under $100. But You know, a lot of it depends on what grade are you willing to go down to. You know, with ours, we have, and I'm not gonna lie, we got a bunch of them in ours that are in, you know, in good and very good, because, you know, some of them we got out of circulation, some of them were just, you know, we got them out of a you know, bargain bin or part of a bundle or whatever, and it was a date we didn't have, so we stuck it in there. So, you know, that's the second stage of your collection is, you know, once you get the full collection, is now, you know, slowly swapping them out for nicer ones as you can afford them. Yeah, I think the only way I'm going to be able to afford an SVDB anytime soon is going to be if it's in about good, cleaned, holed, scratched. Basically just completely jacked up, but enough of it left to be able to tell that it is indeed a genuine '09 SVDB. Because then maybe I'll get lucky and be able to get it for $100, you know? Those would just be the coins that I'll have to plan ahead for. You know, put $50 a month away or something, whatever, until you get enough to go and get it. No sideburns. Took a risk on a 14D purchase on eBay 2 years ago. Yeah, you gotta watch that on eBay. I know a collection I would like to do eventually that I want to do and try and do all of them in high grade is the Liberty Vehicles. Eventually, I'd like to get like a high grade collection of those, but I know how expensive that's going to be. But the collection that I would most like to do, if you know, if it was one of those, you know, money is no object conversations, would be the. I'd like to get a full collection of trade dollars. I've always really liked the trade dollars. I've never been able to actually get one for myself, but I really like them. We've had a couple that we've sold to you guys during our streams. Never been able to keep one yet. You want the seeded dollars? Oh yeah, the seeded dollars are nice coins, definitely. Very nice coins. No sideburns.
Is that what you're calling it now?
It's actually what Cindy called it. I'm just kind of going with it. Cat bus. I'd like to get a collection of cat bus halves. I really like the cat bus half dollars. But those things can get very pricey. Check under the ear. Under which ear? Talking about under Washington's ear? I'll flip it back over after I look at the back. Has that been on every single one of these? Hang on a sec. Okay, yeah, it has. Yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, dye chips make it look like the fangs. It's an under ear. I think it might have just been a reflection that you were seeing. Because from certain angles, it does look like there could be a doubled earlobe, but then from other angles, it looks normal. Yeah, that's a pretty good view right there, the edge. Yeah. Next. Let's see. Apparently that was just a scratch. Not seeing anything on this one. Oh, and then of course going back to the question of the collections, obviously eventually, I mean, like I've already got a decent bit of the Indian collection, but a lot of them are, you know, pretty low grade. I would like to eventually get a decent grade Indian set, because the more, you know, the more time I spend around Rick, the more I'm into Indians. Big shocker, right? All right. Well, at the same time, though, I mean, you got to consider that the Mint isn't making these for us. The Mint is making these for spending. Who's killing you? If I'm reading that, I'm not up on the emoji stuff. Are you saying you have a dog with gas that's giving you issues? Okay, so I did read that right. Awesome. And there's another one with a line between the 0 and the 2. Slightly different position on that one though. Yeah, I don't even know where you guys find half the emojis y'all find. Like Coin Digging, when he popped in, he popped in with bad emojis. I didn't even know there were freaking bad emojis. Not on that one. Now everybody's popping up with bats. That times 10 to the 23rd.
Okay.
For anybody who doesn't know what that means that would be a 10 with 23 zeros after it. Nothing on this one. So if you have to see the bass in Austin, I have to make it a point next time I go there. When I was a kid, I got to go to Carlsbad Caverns in New Mexico and got to see the right at dusk as they were coming flying out of the caverns. That was pretty cool. That's just a scratch. Or in America, you're going to slash through it. Yeah, the main wildlife we deal with here is pretty much coyotes. We got a coyote pack that lives right across the street from us. So you can hear them a lot of times at night out there yapping.
Sometimes they're annoying.
And then occasionally you'll see the javelinas at night out running around. That's a scratch. And then, of course, if you're over by the mountains, then there's a chance you might see a mountain lion. Because we do have those here. Next.
Odds are the mountain lion will leave you alone. And you won't even know that it's there.
Man hit Bambi with his car last night. Did he at least bring it home? Baby venison's good meat. No sense in wasting it. Oh, the deer actually survived it.
That's good.
Yeah, the car too, surprisingly. Sure, he ran over his front legs. Hit his head down like he was trying to ram the car.
Maybe he was.
Is he sure it was a deer? Because that sounds like something an elk would do. Especially a full-grown, big old full-grown elk. That'll take on a car. And probably win. Moose. Moose will take out even a decent-sized truck. Oh, look at this date closer. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm seeing. But if you can see my pointer, that almost looks like maybe possibly a little die chip right there under the top of the 0. And for a second, it looked like there might have been one right there in the top curl of the 2 as well. Oh no, there's definitely MD here. That's for sure. What I was looking at is the little raised section under the top of the 0. Looks like it could be a possibly a very, very minor, or even if not, possibly a spot where a die chip might occur soon after this one was made, you know? I don't know. Just figured I'd have a closer look, just in case. Q stuff can be such a pita. Beta. You want to bet inside the bat eyeballs is going to be a spot that eventually the die chips start popping up. I know what it meant. check something real quick. Notice I've come across some of these where the little claw right there that's on the tip of the wing, some of them have been smooth and some of them have had lines. I don't know. So that's something y'all might want to keep an eye out on these. There might be something to that. All right. Here is the last one that we've got. Enhanced claw. That one looks like it's got one stripe across it. Nope, no W's. These are all Denvers. All right, so we didn't find much of anything. There's a couple of things people might want to keep an eye on as they're looking through theirs at home. One being that the differences in the pattern on some of these claws. I don't know if that's going to end up being something or not. I figure y'all might want to keep an eye out on that. All right, let's see. All right, so we've been going for about an hour and a half, so since we made it through it all, I think I'll go ahead and call it, say goodnight.
Bye, everybody.
So thanks for coming and hanging out with me and looking at bats. Is anybody, I don't know if anybody's going to be going on later on tonight, but if anybody is, feel free to let people know in chat that you'll be on. So, alrighty. I'm going to get out of here and find something to eat. Have a good night, all.